Good evening, hello and welcome. You're with the news today and Tuesday night. This is your destination news, newsmakers, talking points. Prime Minister Modi meets the bridge tragedy victims. That's right, Morbi disaster. Is it an election issue in Gujarat this year? Where are the big fish? Why are they missing? Is the law toothless against the big fish when there are tragedies like Morbi? All that and much more as always on the news today. News without the noise. Let's get kicking with the 9 headlines at 9. Prime Minister in Morbi meets victims and visits the accident site where the bridge snapped. Prime Minister chairs a review meet, assures justice and a thorough probe to survivors. Politics explodes over hospital renovation. Opposition accuses Prime Minister team of event management. India today tracks the firm behind the collapse. Top Oreva officials are still missing. Oreva boss Jaisukh Bhai Patel's house deserted, office shut since Diwali. Conman Sukesh's explosive charge against the Aam Aadmi Party writes a letter to the Delhi LG alleging he paid over 60 crores to AAP and Satyendra Jain. Arvind Kejriwal calls it BJP's attempt to divert attention from the Morbi tragedy. Air quality deteriorates across the national capital as several locations turn hazardous. Quality to remain very poor to severe in the next 6 days. War of words erupts over stubble burning in Punjab. Bharat Jodo Yatra in Telangana stirs a political face-off. Rahul Gandhi mocks Chief Minister KCR's national ambitions. Son KTR hits back, says Rahul couldn't even win his seat from Amethi. Controversy erupts ahead of the crucial Munugode by-poll in Telangana. Violence on the last day of campaigning. BJP convoy allegedly attacked by TRS. Police resort to a lathi charge. Heavy rains bring Chennai to a standstill. IMD predicts heavy rainfall in Chennai, Chengalpattu and Tiruvannamalai. Rishabh Pant likely to replace injured Dinesh Karthik for the Adelaide match against Bangladesh tomorrow. KL Rahul expected to retain his place too. And ex-Brazil Prime Minister Jair Bolsonaro's supporters stage violent protests, block roads after their leader's defeat in the elections. Bolsonaro yet to concede defeat or challenge the poll defeat. But our top story tonight. It's now 2 days after a bridge collapse killed at least 135 persons in Gujarat's Morbi. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today visited the site of the tragedy, met many of those who were injured in hospital. Soon after his visit to the bridge, Mr. Modi expressed his condolences to the families as well as meeting the injured who were being treated in the hospital. PM Modi was seen asking the survivors about their health and assured them that justice would be done. A little after that, the Prime Minister chaired a high-level meeting to take stock of the probe. The Prime Minister has instructed the authorities to stay in touch with the victims' families to ensure them help. He also asked officials to conduct a thorough inquiry to nail the causes of the mishap. Now, hours before the Prime Minister visited the Morbi hospital, a political controversy has broken out because the entire facility suddenly got a makeover. From painting the walls to replacing beds in the wall, people worked through the night to give the hospital a new look ahead of the Prime Minister's visit. The opposition says this overnight makeover suggests the Gujarat government's misplaced priorities and was an attempt at event management. Also, several of the banners of Oreva were conveniently removed so that the Prime Ministers would not be seen in many of the photos with them. Tonight, our top story is just how Morbi is at the moment struggling to come to terms amidst the politics.
Prime Minister Modi on Tuesday walked into a hospital that looked a lot different from what it was on Monday evening. The authorities pulled out all stops to give the Morbi Civil Hospital a much-needed makeover ahead of the Prime Minister's visit. Workers burnt midnight oil, racing against time to spruce up the facility. The walls got a fresh coat of paint. New tiles were put in some areas. Old water coolers gave way to new ones. And new beds were brought into wards.
बेड है, हॉस्पिटल बेड नए लगाए गए हैं, जी नहीं लगवाए, अभी 5 मिनट के पहले लगाए.
So clearly that there is what we can say the makeover of civil hospital, which is good thing for the residents of Morbi, but happening for a specific reason.
All this work needed to be completed in a few hours, which meant more hands were needed. So workers were called in from Rajkot.
રાતમાં ઝાડુ મારો છો તમે?
હા અત્યારે સાફ સફાઈ માટે
રોજ સાફ સફાઈ થાય છે યાર?
થાય જ ને.
રોજ થાય? 11 वाजता.
अभी तो हम राजकोट से आए हैं.
क्यों राजकोट से आए?
अभी तो साफ सफाई के लिए बुलाया इसलिए हम आए हैं.
The makeover, as evident, was hasty. Some work was left incomplete, like this water cooler that was not connected to any supply.
ये देखिए यहाँ पर पानी की बोतल लेकर आई है और ये वाटर कूलर यहाँ पर कल रात में ही लगाया है और उससे पानी भरने की कोशिश कर रही है, लेकिन इसमें से पानी नहीं आ रहा है. कब लगाया, कुछ पता चला आपको?
મને કાંઈ ખબર નથી કોણે લગાયા. સિવિલના માણસોએ જ લગાયા છે.
તમે કોશિશ કરી પાણી?
અમે કયા કામ જ કરીએ છીએ પાણી ભરવા આવી.
The hospital called the hasty facelift a routine exercise.
पीएम साहब की दौरे के मद्देनजर कुछ अलग से तैयारियां की गई, कुछ अलग से कुछ
नहीं, it is a routine activity. It is taking place everywhere in all government setup.
The opposition tore into the BJP, tweeting out pictures of the work, accusing the Gujarat government of misplaced priorities.
जब पूरा गुजरात गम में डूबा हुआ है, तब भारतीय जनता पार्टी का शासन मोरबी की सिविल हॉस्पिटल को रंग रोगान कलर काम करके सजा दजा रहा है, क्योंकि उनको ये लगता है कि इस तरह से इवेंट मैनेजमेंट करके मोदी जी खुश हो जाएंगे.
अभी तक 27 साल में जो ये सुविधाएं नहीं मिल पा रही है और गरीब लोग जितने भी है वो इतने साल से दुखित है, और रातों रात जो पीएम मोदी के लिए जो काम चालू कर दिया गया है, तो ये लोग हमारी फीलिंग्स के साथ जो खिलवाड़ कर रहे हैं ना, उससे हम लोगों को अभी तक दुख है.
The Gujarat BJP maintained silence on the issue. The Morbi bridge tragedy comes ahead of the assembly elections in the state. While the top leadership of the three parties in the fray have claimed that the disaster will not be politicized, one of the worst tragedies in recent times is bound to become an election issue. Will Mustafa Sheikh and Saurabh Bakhtania in Morbi. Bureau Report, India Today.
So is Morbi going to be an election year issue in Gujarat? Is there an attempt being made to cover up what really happened by the Gujarat government and protect a few people? Can the state government really be blamed for what is being seen primarily as local level negligence? To some of the questions, first a political face-off tonight. Jignesh Mevani is Congress MLA from Gujarat. Sanju Verma is BJP spokesperson. To you, Jignesh Mevani, first. There are two ways to look at what has happened. One is this is a moment of grief. People are hurting. The main focus of the government should be to ensure that the victims are taken care of, families are condoled with, which the BJP claims they are doing. Your party is claiming all of this is event management. How do you see it? Is it what you're saying, politics being played out also by the opposition? How do you see what has happened in the last 48 hours?
See, first of all, what has happened is extremely painful and unfortunate. We have lost more than 140, 150 lives. But the SIT, which is given the task to investigate the matter, is not having the non-corrupt officers. What happened in huge tragedy a few months back, if you remember, more than 70 people lost their lives. What happened with that probe? Exam paper keep getting leaked. Nothing is happening with those investigations. Drugs worth 2 lakh crore is seized from the Mundra airport. Nothing is happening with those investigations. So my apprehension is, if the government of Gujarat, BJP government, is genuinely concerned about the victim's family, and we want to ensure that whether it is Morbi or any part of India, this kind of event, this kind of episode must not get repeated. then we should ensure free and fair investigation, which is possible only by an SIT in which we have officers with credibility.
No, how can, no, but Jignesh Mevani, you have prejudged the SIT. You are prejudging the SIT by saying that the officers don't have credibility. Don't you think you should at least allow the SIT to complete its work?
Yeah, because there are serious allegations. I won't name, but there are serious allegations against some of the members of the SIT. So even in the case of huge tragedy, they would suspend or transfer a constable or two. Nothing to the range AG and the SP. The same way, even in this case, there is no mentioning of the MD or CEO or manager or owner of the Ajanta Oreva company. There is no mentioning of any of the senior bureaucrat. Who cracked the deal? What was the commission? This will bring out in public domain. This will be part of the investigation only when a genuine, not a convenient, a genuine SIT is formed.
Okay.
We can't do this. We have a apprehension.
Okay, let Sanju Verma respond. Sanju Verma, the Prime Minister has gone to the site. He has condoled with the victims, all of which is laudable, which is done by most governments when something like this happens. But what Jignesh Mevani is saying, that the real issue is the investigation. The real issue is ensuring closure to the victim, which will only come when the guilty are punished. You look at the FIR. The FIR does not name any of the leading officials of Oreva. It does not name the civic administration which allowed the fitness certificate to take place for the bridge and allowed the bridge to be reopened, and some of them claim we didn't even know about it. This is a BJP-dominated Morbi administration. It's entirely BJP, all the corporators. These are the issues to tackle. Yes, meet the victims, condole with them, but you need closure. How do you respond?
You know, Rajdeep, you asked me many questions. I will, answer each one of them. I think you are absolutely right. The victims need a closure. The guilty need to be brought to book. And, any fish, big or small, be it from the Morbi Nagarpalika or be it from the Ajanta Oreva group or anybody else in the administration in the state, they need to be nailed to set an example. And one thing I can tell you with a lot of confidence...
So why are they not named in the FIR? No, 1 minute, ma'am. These are all... what you are saying sounds nice. Why are they not named in the FIR? No, why are they not named in the FIR? If you are saying... No, the fact is, the impression which is going out is there is an attempt being made to protect the corporators, the officials and the members of Oreva. Yes,
are you the panelist or the anchor on the debate?
I have to ask you questions. My job is to ask you questions. Please do not intimidate me.
Listen to my answer.
Please.
Your job is not to give the answer to your question.
Please
give the answer. That is my job.
Please give the answer.
That is my job.
Please give
the answer. Your job is to ask the question. My job is to give you the response.
You are not giving me the response. Why are the main officials not named in the FIR?
Stop heckling me.
I'm not heckling you. I'm asking you a question. Ma'am, please.
Fine. You can continue talking. I refuse to speak because you are in love with your voice.
Ma'am, I am asking you a question. You do not wish to answer.
May I please respond?
Please do.
Can you have some patience?
I will wait to hear.
Can you please allow me a rebuttal?
Please do.
Thank you. I appreciate your kindness. I wanted to say a couple of things. What did I start by saying? Anybody who's responsible, I said even people from the Morbi Nagarpalika and the top brass of the Ajanta Oreva group, including the head of the Oreva group, Jaisukh Bhai Patel, let the Modi government and the state dispensation under Bhupendra Bhai Patel spare no one. But equally, there is an SIT that was constituted in less than 12 hours of the horrific incident that will come out with a report maybe in 24 or 48 hours. There is a forensic audit that is underway, and whether this was an act of negligence by the dispensation in the state, whether this was an act of sabotage by people close to the Aam Aadmi Party, or whether this was an accident, an act of God or act of fraud or act of sabotage. That will be known in less than 48 hours. And don't forget, Advocate Vishal Tiwari has also filed a PIL. He demands a judicial inquiry, and the Supreme Court will hear that petition on the 14th of November.
According to Jignesh Mevani, this is going the pattern of the Hooch tragedy a few months ago. SIT appointed, but those genuinely, allegedly involved never get prosecuted. That's his claim, that this SIT is only being used as a smokescreen to protect the guilty. In the Hooch tragedy, the guilty were not arrested. The top people involved were got away.
May I answer that? Rajneet?
Yes.
Jignesh Mevani said a couple of things. It is his, right as a bona fide citizen and a resident of Gujarat to demand justice. I demand justice, because I think the 140 odd people who've lost their lives, somebody has to be held accountable. You can't say that the buck will, not stop at somebody's doorstep. The buck will have to stop at the doorstep of somebody and accountability needs to be fixed. But I want to ask Jignesh Mevani, he keeps talking about transparency, accountability. What has he done for the Dalit Samaj, whom he represents? What has he done as a legislator for the people of Vadgaon? What has he done for the people of Saurashtra, which are one of the largest concentration of Dalit population, and he brings up Saurashtra before every election and then conveniently forgets about them? What has he done for the Mehsana district? Because he was born in a village in Mehsana district. What has he done for the people of Sabarkantha district? Because he brings up Sabarkantha also before every election.
You're making it personal. You're making it personal about Jignesh Mevani, but I will allow him to respond. Now I've heard you. Let him respond. Jignesh Mevani, she says, who are you to talk about Morbi? What have you done for your Dalit Samaj?
I have been fighting for the cause of Dalits and marginalized people for more than 12-15 years. And if you ask even BJP Karyakartas belonging to scheduled caste, they will trust me more than your elected representatives. So let us not go into that. Let us focus on the Morbi episode. My concern is simple. In the huge tragedy case, you formed an SIT. And the Botad, Bhavnagar, Amreli, and Ahmedabad district, where the huge tragedy happened. Again, the bootleggers have started selling liquor in each and every nook and corner of Botad and Ahmedabad. Right? Why? Because proper inquiry never happened. Investigation never reached to its logical end. So if you really want to ensure that these kind of episodes don't happen again, we need a free and fair inquiry.
No, but Sanju Verma, Jignesh Mevani, Sanju Verma is saying howsoever high they be, will be punished. That is the assurance that she claims.
But you are not mentioning, but the FIR
no, you can't come in.
About the company. There was a contract between the Nagarpalika and the Oreva company. Why there is no mentioning of the MD or CEO owner of the company in the FIR itself? When you don't want to name them, obviously you don't want to arrest them. Right? I tweeted.
Don't make frivolous allegations.
No, that's true. No, Sanju Verma, the truth is that they are not named in the FIR.
Why there is no FIR against the company? Why there is no FIR against the owner of the company? Why are you letting them go?
Sanju
Verma wants to know.
The
people of Morbi and the people of Gujarat want to know why there is no mentioning in their FIR.
Listen to my response.
No. You answer a direct question now, Sanju Verma. The FIR as it is at the moment does not name the senior officials of Oreva, does not name the municipal corporators who are guilty of criminal negligence, that a bridge was reopened, the fitness certificate was not in place. Why are they not named? Is that where the elections come in? That before a major election, you do not want to beyond a point embarrass yourself?
Rajneet, BJP is in power in Morbi Nagarpalika. BJP is in power in Gujarat. BJP is in power in Central. Still there is no proper investigation. Still there is no proper FIR.
No, but Sanju Verma, he is entitled to speak.
I don't wish if you cannot control this other panelist who is ranting needlessly.
Just a minute, Sanju Verma. No, what you are calling a rant are questions. People have a right. Every time someone asks a question, it's not a rant.
I don't have the right to respond on your show.
Please respond. You have not answered the question. Why are none of these people who you say will be prosecuted named in the FIR?
May I please respond to that?
Yes, please.
There is a manner in which justice is carried out. There is an FIR that is filed. There is a trial. There is a charge sheet that is prepared. And the SIT probe comes up with recommendations as to what exactly happened. And let me be very honest with you. The Prime Minister himself has said, forget anybody else, He himself today said that there are a lot of takeaways and learnings from this horrific episode and no one will be spared. And I think Narendra Modi, when he says that there are no ifs or buts when the Prime Minister made that statement, if anybody from the Ajanta Oreva group needs to be nailed, they will be nailed.
Okay.
And you know, section 304, 308, 114, these are serious sections pertaining to culpable homicide which have been filed. So, you know, let us not try and jump the gun. And Mr. Mevani, I want to ask you, તમે પાછલા 5 વર્ષોમાં દલિત સમાજ ઉદ્ધાર માટે શું કર્યું છે? તમે પાછલા 5 વર્ષોમાં વડગામના લોકો માટે શું કર્યું છે? અમારી સરકારને કોંગ્રેસ પાર્ટીની સર્ટિફિકેટની જરૂરત નથી. We don't need a certificate from you, Mr. Mevani.
Okay.
There is a bona fide probe that is being conducted. And one thing, Rajdeep, I just want to correct. The whole media has been saying, I'm not a spokesperson for the Ajanta Group. But the whole media has been saying this is just a wall clock manufacturing company. That is wrong. This is a conglomerate involved in construction, transportation, real estate, textiles. And they were also maintaining the bridge from 2008 to 2018.
They had subcontracted this particular work to another company.
Yes,
we are not, the fact at the end of the day, okay, ma'am, you made your point. One final question, Jignesh Mevani. Would you concede that this is not going to beyond a point be an election issue? There are those who are saying that the opposition will try and suggest that this represents the failure of the Gujarat model, represents the failure of Narendra Modi ji, represents the failure of Bhupendra Patel, of Amit Shah. At the end of the day, isn't it local level negligence? Why should in every such instance the Prime Minister and the Gujarat model be dragged in?
Because this is the Gujarat model of corruption and commission. Without the transaction of money, without money being involved, why a company which has no record, which has no history, which has no expertise, competence, experience of building or renovating bridges, why are they given this job of renovating the Morbi bridge?
Is this man insane?
No, please do not intervene, ma'am.
Isn't this an obvious question? Isn't this an obvious question?
No, that
right.
is...
Why are you trying to sue the company?
The Gujarat government
has your party received money from the company?
Okay. Sanju Verma, I have to mute your voice now. Because I asked him a question, you are answering it. But I ask you again, Jignesh, is this an election issue?
Whether it is, I don't care about election issue. This is about ensuring justice.
Okay.
It must not happen again. Why a company which has no experience of building or renovating bridge is given this task?
Okay.
It is playing with the lives of the ordinary citizen, which we can't allow. It must not happen.
Okay, I'm going to leave it there, Jignesh. You've had your say. Sanju Verma has had. As I said, our aim is to ensure justice and accountability. We will track what the SIT actually does in this case. But for now, I appreciate both of you joining me here on the news today. So what is the legal liability involved in cases of criminal negligence? Remember, in this country, there are many such accidents. There are fires, there are bridge collapses. Do they actually result in the guilty being punished? As there is this shock and fury over the 135 deaths, 9 people so far have been arrested and charged with culpable homicide not amounting to murder. Most of them are security officials, local level officials. Oreva owner not among those arrested, nor are any of the civic administration officials at a senior level being arrested. So who should be held responsible? What about the big fish? What are the laws in this country when it comes to criminal negligence? Take a look.
The man on your screen is Jaishukhbhai Patel, the owner of Oreva, the company which renovated the 140-year-old suspension bridge in Morbi. He inaugurated the bridge on October 26th, a week before it collapsed. While 9 people have been arrested by the Gujarat police, Oreva owner is on the run. Among the 9 who have been arrested are 2 ticket clerks, 2 managers, 2 repair contractors and 3 persons working at the bridge as security personnel, all employed by Oreva Group. The FIR, however, does not identify any person. While the small fish are in the police net, the big fish are absconding. Oreva's Ahmedabad office is shut. Its owner's Morbi flat is deserted. Patel's farmhouse in Ahmedabad is locked. This begs the question, does the law have enough teeth to ensure justice in cases like these? Constitutional experts say that the law allows for both civil liability in form of compensation and criminal action against the persons responsible.
There is no absence of provisions in criminal law to cause wrongful death, criminal negligent act and so on. And even an act akin to causing the death of people on a large scale, there is no absence of provision. There is only absence of political intent.
The persons who were responsible for allowing those people to enter, those who are responsible for charging money. So all these people have to now undergo some kind of an investigation.
Lawyers also say there is need to strictly implement the civil law so that the company responsible has to pay the victims.
Specifically as far as infrastructure projects and civil contractors are concerned, I think it's time that we have a specific law which deals with the civil liability aspects and makes it summary and immediate payments to the victims.
Sections invoked in the Morbi FIR attract jail terms up to life term. The truth in such cases take years. A case in point is Upha tragedy, in which Unsung brothers were sentenced to 2 years in jail for negligence after nearly 2 decades of court battles. With Anisha Mathur in New Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today.
So why doesn't an FIR in cases like this name top company bosses? Is that usual practice? What about the municipal officials? Should they be let off the hook? Is the law simply toothless in cases like Morbi beyond a point? Does this country need new laws for cases of negligence? Those are the questions that we will raise. Dushyant Dave, senior advocate, will join us in a moment. Also joining us is Aryama Sundaram from the Supreme Court, senior advocate. Aryama Sundaram, in cases of criminal negligence like this, we saw in the Unsung case, for example, Upar fire tragedy, the Unsung owners were prosecuted. Do you believe that that is the right way to go? Do you believe that criminal negligence in this should focus only on those immediately involved in the act of negligence at the local level, as the FIR seems to suggest?
Rajiv, let's understand one thing. To deal with situations like this, there is enough teeth that the law has. There is no doubt that there is enough teeth to deal with it. The problem really lies as to whether those teeth will be used to fight. Because if the powers that be who are to go through with this prosecution decide not to bite, it's no use having the teeth in the first place. Now the fact of the matter is, every single person, according to me, who in any way had a role in that bridge opening, directly or indirectly. For example, if tomorrow it can be shown that the owners of Oreva or municipal officer or anybody else was aware that without the certificate required, without the clearances required, the bridge was being opened, they would all be liable to be proceeded against. And there is no question what that would happen.
No, so you're saying if the bridge was reopened without a fitness certificate, then it isn't just the local level officials, but even the top brass, which has to be held accountable under criminal negligence?
Who all were aware of the bridge being opened without a certificate. Let's understand there's a difference between civil liability and criminal liability. Civil liability brings in what's known as vicarious liability. For example, the government of Gujarat may have had no role to play with it. But if it is a civil action, you can say that the government is vicariously liable for the actions of its officers and can demand compensation. But in criminal law, there cannot be vicarious liability. So the way the liability is shown is who all had a role to play. The role to play could be by either actively participating in it, or through negligence and extreme dereliction of duty in not preventing something which they had within their compass to prevent. That is why I said the course of investigation will disclose as to which of the officers who could have prevented this from happening but aware that the bridge was being used without such a certificate, without it being declared safe, all the officers who knew about it and had it in their power to prevent, they would all be liable. Now, the purpose of this FIR, let us understand, I am not absolutely disappointed in the FIR like others are for the only reason that this is an FIR which the FIR is nothing more than stating the incident which happened. If people are named, you name the people who on the face of it are involved with what is happening. But the purpose of investigation is to find out what exactly happened, who all are culpable, and more people can be included within the gamut of the law, within the gamut of criminal proceedings, if it is shown in the course of investigation. Not being named in the FIR does not foreclose the issue. So the FIR is the starting point of an investigation. And I believe that every single person who had either a role directly to play or had it in their power to prevent, knowing that the certificate was not there, did nothing, took no steps to prevent it, they all would be liable to be proceeded against. So so far as vicarious civil liability is concerned, I believe it extends further, even whether it's in knowledge or not knowledge of the government. The government would have to answer for the actions of its officers also in civil liability.
You know, I just want to ask you one question very simply. Our criminal negligence laws compared with the rest of the world, are they strong enough?
Are you putting that question to me? Right?
Yes.
Yes, yes, definitely. Our laws are strong enough. Like I said, our laws have the teeth. We have the teeth. But are the officers willing to use the teeth and bite? That is the point.
You know, that in a way, therefore, is what you're saying is it comes down then to intent. Am I clear? That the laws are tough enough, but there is no intent to prosecute. What is the maximum punishment in your view that can be given in a case like this?
In a case like this, you can give rigorous imprisonment for a year, 7 years, 10 years, according to me.
That you're saying 7 years to 10 years. As we've seen, those cases like this can drag on for years. Criminal negligence cases, even in the Uppar tragedy, it's taken what? It took almost well over a decade before this matter went through various courts and eventually reached a solution. Are we looking, therefore, that it is only if those who are willing to carry on this battle over the long haul? Now, the Morbi victims may not have the kind of facilities to carry out a long battle. So, is it to be done by the state or the victims?
Of course, it's to be done by the state. In this case, if it is a case after the Pereira case especially, it is not merely causing death by a negligent act. If the negligence is so large, so culpable, it becomes culpable homicide not amounting to murder. Now, those cases are prosecuted by the state. These are not on private complaint. They are to be prosecuted and the state has to take all action in it. The complainants cannot be anything more than perhaps witnesses if they witness what happened. But so far as the prosecution is concerned, it has to be the state.
So you're saying that the state has to now, in the case of Morbi, carry on this prosecution and carry it to a logical conclusion. Am I correct?
Yes, and I believe a case like this, given the enormity, the gravamen of what has happened, the number of people who have been affected, should be put on a fast track and should be completed on a fast track. We are aware of laws delays in India, but we are also aware that where there is a will, there's always a way, and there are many cases which have been put on a fast track and which have been completed soon.
Okay, I'm going to leave it there. What you're saying, therefore, is the FIR is only a preliminary step. You remain hopeful that the next step would be taken to its logical conclusion by actually prosecuting those who in any way may have been aware that the bridge perhaps did not have the necessary fitness certificates or did not maintain the necessary safety standards. Am I correct?
And who had it in their power to stop it. It's no use saying that the clerk in the office was aware of it. The clerk in the office could not have stopped the action. I'm talking about those who were aware and had the power to stop what happened.
Let me leave it there. Mr. Aryaman Sundaram, I appreciate your joining us. Dushyant Dave, all I can say, it's unfortunate that you did not join us. We were 5 minutes late with our earlier discussion, but I must say this therefore on national TV, that we expected you also to come in and have your word. You've chosen not to do so. I don't know what to say. So unfortunate that you did not join our debate here today on the legal aspects of this case. Let's turn therefore to the Good Samaritans, because while in Morbi 135 people have died, a number of people have stood up to be counted. The death toll in Morbi could have been much higher if not for the brave citizens who plunged into the Machu river to save people. Their rescue efforts in fact began a long time even before the NDRF reached the site. It's the joint effort by citizens and government officials that saved many, many lives. Tonight's special report is on the unsung heroes of Morbi.
What was supposed to be a fun weekend with family and friends on the Jhulto Pul in Morbi's Gujarat turned out to be a tragedy for over 400 people, with more than 130 of them dead. Long before the NDRF reached the accident site, rescue efforts were already on. Many locals rushed to the spot and jumped into the river fearlessly in a bid to save as many people as they could. Ajay and Pankaj were two such saviors.
पुल जो है लचक रहा था सर.
कौन लोग थे जो कह रहे थे कि मत जाओ, भीड़ आगे जाओ?
हमारे ही लोग थे सर.
महिलाएं थी ज्यादा, औरतें थे या बच्चे ज्यादा?
बच्चे महिलाएं सब लोग था ज्यादा, लेकिन बच्चे लोग ज्यादा था. बच्चे लोग को दो लोग को कान पे मैं टांग कर ऊपर लाए.
अभी भी मेरे सब सर में और आंखों में यही दिखता है मैडम.
Tawfiq's daughter was one of the victims. While she was admitted to hospital, Tawfiq stayed back to help other victims.
बच्चे तो कम से कम मैंने 30 से 35 बच्चे थे. कुछ औरतें थी, लड़कियों थी जो 16 से 18 साल की थी. इसमें मैडम धर्म देखना ही नहीं चाहिए मैडम. धर्म कोई सेवा करने में कोई धर्म देखना ही नहीं चाहिए मैडम. मेरा तो यही अकीदा है.
Naeem Sheikh lost his strength and was himself injured in the bridge collapse, but he joined the rescue efforts.
2-3 दोस्त थे. 2-3 दोस्त जान को दाव में लगा के चला गया. कुछ भी हो जाए बचाना तो चाहिए. पहले तो 20-25 बच्चे को पहले बचाया.
5 बजे भी जब डेड बॉडी निकाल रहे थे.
A tea seller by the name of Raju spent the whole night tirelessly working to save lives.
मेरी लाइफ में 10 बच्चे लाया, इसमें एक लड़का जिंदा है.
Many unsung heroes, along with NDRF personnel, rescued over 170 people. The heroes of Morbi will be remembered for their selfless service. With Ashutosh Mishra and Gopi Manyar, in Morbi, Bureau Report, India Today.
Let's therefore today pay tribute and salute those brave people of Morbi who have gone out of their way to help others. They are the true heroes, in a sense, of Morbi. Let's turn from there to our Get Real India story, and it comes around the centre's Agniveer scheme that has found thousands of aspirants in Madhya Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh in spite of initial protests and apprehensions. More than 44,000 people in Madhya Pradesh, 95,000 in UP have registered for the scheme. Take a look at this report.
Despite initial protests and apprehensions over Agniveer's short tenure of service, thousands of youth in Uttar Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh are signing up for the mega recruitment drive. There are over 44,000 applicants from Madhya Pradesh alone.
ये बताएं आप कब से तैयारी कर रहे थे?
सर 2 साल से.
2 साल से. तो आपने तो फौज की तैयारी की होगी, अभी अग्निवीर हुई है.
हाँ सर की.
इसमें तो सिर्फ 4 साल की नौकरी है.
हाँ 4 साल की है, लेकिन कुछ कुछ इंडिविजुअल फायदे भी हैं, नुकसान भी है सर. तो जिससे मतलब देश के लिए करना है सर, वो तो फायदे के लिए नहीं करेगा, देश के लिए ही करेगा.
The aspirants turned up at the Bhopal parade ground today in the early hours. When asked about the changes in service terms, there were mixed reactions.
जिनकी उम्र निकल गई वो खुद कर रहे थे दंगा, मतलब 25 साल के हो गए वो भी कर रहे थे दंगा.
बाकी जिनकी उम्र है वो तो कर ही नहीं रहे थे, वो तो सब भड़काऊ था।
4 साल की नौकरी के चक्कर में ना ये सब बेकार है, क्योंकि इसकी मेहनत जो 4 साल तो मेहनत ही लग जाती है हमको नौकरी में अग्निवीर बनने के लिए। 4 से समथिंग 4 साल लग जाती है हमको कि हम क्या है सर। इसके बाद अगर हम 4 साल के लिए लग भी जाते हैं, इसके बाद हमारा स्टार्टअप क्या रहेगा, आप बताइए ना क्या रहेगा। इसके बाद क्या करेगा अग्निवीर वाला? अग्निवीर वाला क्या चाय बेचेगा?
Registrations are soaring in Uttar Pradesh as well. From 13 districts, over 95,000 youth have signed up for the recruitment drive. Sleeping on the footpath at night before recruitment rally, the youth said Agniveer will help them realize their childhood dream to serve the nation.
बेरोजगारी तो है सर, लेकिन वो अलग बात हो गई। बेरोजगारी तो कहीं भी साल हो सकती है, कहीं भी मजदूरी करके किसी कंपनी में, लेकिन आर्मी का इसमें सर जाने का रुतबा ही कुछ अलग है।
While the aspirants may be wary of the short tenure under Agniveer scheme, the huge turnout indicates that it is not stopping them from joining the armed forces. Bureau Report, India Today.
Tonight we have a good news story. India's children have shone at the World Youth Scrabble Championships. Delhi's Madhav Gopal Kamath finished second. Bangalore's Samarth Manchali emerged as the under-10 champion. Mumbai's Pramit Rao finished sixth. So India was all over the World Scrabble Championship. And therefore we thought it's a good day to bring in two of our Scrabble champions. Joining us now, Samarth Manchali from Bengaluru, under-10 champion at the World Youth Scrabble Championship, and Madhav Gopal Kamath, who finished second at those championships. Thank you both so much for joining us. First to you, Samarth. How are you feeling to become a world champion at under-10?
I'm feeling very excited.
You're feeling very excited. Okay, great to have you on the show. And is this the first time you're on TV, or you've been on TV before?
This is the first time I am on TV.
Okay. And what is the longest Scrabble word you had while winning the championship? Do you remember the longest word you put together?
Yes. The longest word I remember is thinners. THINNERS for 97 points.
Repeat that for me again.
Okay. THINNERS. Thinners.
Thinners. And how many points was that worth? 97?
Yes.
Wow, I don't remember last when I got 97 points in Scrabble. Well done, Samarth. To you, Madhav Gopal. You were last year also on my show. I think you did very well last year as well. So you're a double winner, right? Last year you came second, again second this time.
Yes, sir.
Tell us, tell us about how you started, Madhav, in this world of Scrabble. How old are you?
I'm currently 12 years old.
Okay.
I was introduced to Scrabble by my father and my uncle. I started playing when I was around 5 years old. My father and uncle are both very good players, and the game looked quite interesting, so I decided to start playing.
Okay. And how do you practice for a world championship like this?
I've been mentored by a senior Scrabble player from Malaysia this year, along with a few other of the youth Scrabble players from India. It helps a lot with it, and reading books also helps a lot because it improves your vocabulary.
And you do this in your off time, Madhav, playing Scrabble, or you do it in between even your lunch break in school?
Off time at home one day, not during school.
Not in school? Are you allowed to? Yeah, you can take your Scrabble board to class or not?
No, not really.
Samarth, what age did you start playing Scrabble?
At the age of 7.
At the age of 7 you started playing Scrabble. Wow. And what is it about Scrabble that you like?
Playing bingos, taking scores, high scores, about 30-40 points. Strategies, winning.
And who did you defeat in the finals? From which country? Which country?
I defeated Shreyas,
okay.
A fellow player from India.
In the final, you defeated Shreyas, a fellow player from India. It looks like, Madhav, Indians are very good at Scrabble, no?
India is one of the strongest countries in Scrabble generally.
So who came first in your under 14?
Actually, that's not how the format works. The format, all the under 18 players play together. So there's no separate age brackets.
Oh, so they all play together. I just wanted to ask you though, that now that you're a Scrabble champion, what next are you going to do, Madhav? What do you want to become one day?
I'm not really sure. I'm going to come back harder next year and try and win this thing. I hope.
You first want to win the Scrabble championship, Shrira. Samarth, what do you want to become when you grow older?
Playing Scrabble with other people from other countries.
You want to keep playing Scrabble with other people from other countries. Well, look, yes. I hope that both of you become Scrabble, continue to take India's name higher and higher in the world of Scrabble. And maybe we can have a competition between Madhav, Samarth and me. Who's going to win?
Me.
Okay. Madhav, is Samarth going to defeat you also now? Are you ready for a challenge?
Yes, sir. So it's very much possible, sir.
Okay, and I'll join you also. But all the very best to you. God bless. Madhav, Samarth, wonderful to have you on the show. And thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Let's turn from there to another good news today story. For the first time in the history of Chennai's Institute of Mental Health, 2 residents tied the knot. Our good news today story is about Deepa and Mahendran, who met each other at the institute and later fell in love. Here's wishing them the very best. Take a look.
A first in over 200 years at the Chennai Institute of Mental Health. 2 residents tied the knot in the presence by their near and dear ones. Deepa and Mahendran met each other when they were undergoing rehabilitation after battling mental health issues. They were strangers but formed a bond and shared a dream of building a new life together.
Started when I was working in daycare. I was helping patients in order to make tailoring, in order to do tailoring, in order to do candles and purses, jute bags, so on. And it happened one fine day, Deepa came to our center as a client. And the first day itself I saw her, she was very caring, she was taking care of the patients very well. And she was also taking care of everybody politely, courteously. That moved me on, and I didn't wait for a second. I went and approached her and I said that, Madam, I'm in love with you, can we get married?
Deepa was hesitant at first, but as the days passed by, she got comfortable.
தருணங்கள் தான் என்ன அவர் மேல அன்பு காட்ட ஆரம்பிச்சது. எங்க அப்பா இருந்து என்னை எப்படி கவனிச்சுப்பாரோ அந்த அளவுக்கு அதை விட மேல என்ன கவனிச்சுக்கிட்டாரு. ரொம்ப அன்பா பாத்துக்கிட்டாரு. நான் உடம்பு சரியில்லாதப்ப ரொம்ப கேரிங்கா இருந்தாரு. எனக்கு நான் வாய் திறந்து எனக்கு இது வேணும் அது வேணும்னு கேட்காததுக்கு முன்னாடியே அவர் எனக்காக நிறைய செஞ்சிருக்கிறாரு.
For the director of IMH, Purna Chandrika, it is a story of hope and optimism, and why not?
It's a very heritage building, shall we say, a hospital which is more than 228 years old. It came in the English period and is known as one of the asylums, the Asia's second largest. But at the same time, we are moving with times. And when we move with times, the regulations have changed, the rules have changed, and we are now into the new era of Mental Health Care Act 2017.
Mahendran and Deepa have been each other's anchors in their journey towards healing. Bureau Report, India Today.
Let's leave you though with our image of the day. It's coming in from Chennai, where there is not so good news. Heavy rainfall has led to a deluge in several parts of Chennai. The city is experiencing light to heavy rainfall, waterlogging in several parts of the country. In light of the recent weather, a holiday has been declared in schools in many districts. But as we can see with city after city, in this monsoon season, we've had waterlogging. Of course, this is Chennai's time to get their monsoon, and the city is struggling to cope up with the heavy rains. We wish the citizens safe journeys, and you, the viewer, stay well, stay safe. Good night, Shubh Ratri, Jai Hind, Namaskar.